I sent you the link, Tracy.
Okay, I'm waiting on it now. It just came through. Good to go. You hear me, Olivia?
Yes, I'm bringing everyone in.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure because I was testing it and I don't know if it cut you off or not.
Hello, hello.
Hey,
Hello?
Dr. W. Okay, we are live streaming and you can start the meeting whenever you're ready.
Okay, let me get my glasses on. So I've been a little remiss, I guess, in doing meetings quick enough, but we needed to do a meeting but this will be my last one. We'll talk about that at the end. But we've had a few issues and I know that Dr. Collada well, first of all, I don't have a copy of the last minutes. I know they were trying to get one.
As soon as they allow me to share a screen, I'll put up what we have.
Okay, and then we just have to approve that, I guess. But right now, if you don't mind, I'll go on to the next stuff. Dr. Collada had to work on some issues for us on doing surgery in the office. The interpretation by the attorney was that we were not supposed to be doing surgery in the office, but that was something that was we, of course, had been doing for years. So, okay, that's the old business.
Yeah, here we go. And so
Oh, this is
that's
the new
the agenda.
agenda.
And this is the agenda. And then let's see. Do I have? So let's see. Olivia, did you send me the copy of the agenda with the minutes? Or did you send me the minutes?
I don't believe I sent you the minutes. I have them though. I can put
Okay.
them
Well,
in.
why don't you go ahead and put the minutes up for approval?
Okay.
I will.
Just Olivia will do that, and then you can read them.
Okay.
Approve them.
Mm. Can everyone see it's just the minutes?
Take your time.
Yes.
I'll try to make them a little bigger so everyone can read.
Yeah, I just magnified it here.
If you have any questions or need to make any changes, please just let me know.
It looks correct to me. Anybody else?
Looks good.
Okay, assume we go ahead and vote to pass those or accept them. So I'll make a motion. We do.
I have one question, Billy, about the rule change at the bottom, number 5.
Yeah.
You'll read that for me.
It doesn't make sense.
Okay, well, what y'all wanted to do was consider getting since it's been hard to find somebody, but I just did. You wanted to consider having a generalist orthopedist as opposed to a foot and ankle orthopedist. And we found a foot and ankle orthopedist. And so they're going to be on the agenda for the board to approve in a week and a half.
Yeah, I think we were trying to avoid antagonistic approach to it if they're not open to podiatrists.
Yeah, I remember that conversation, but the way it's written, that's not how I read that. Just read that again. Read it to yourselves and tell me if that is what you meant to say on that.
And when we meant to allow it to be just a general orthopedist, if we, and not have to specifically
Right.
dedicate it as foot and ankle.
That would, you know, the
Thanks for
rules would have to
clarifying.
be, the rules right now require it to be a foot and ankle, and I've got one. So, you know, I can tell you that she seems to be fairly well qualified. She's up in Baton Rouge, and she's willing to do it. If you want to, you know, we can still appoint her and then press on with the rule change if you want. But
What's her
again,
name, if you don't mind?
Hang on a second and let me get it for you. I
Because
apologize.
there's one female there that our residents scrub in with to do surgery with who's been very open.
Riche, R-I-C-H-E with an accent.
I don't know that one.
Okay.
Well, like I said, right now the rules required, we'd have to do at some point in time, try to do a rule change. I think we had talked about doing it, but apparently we haven't formally gone after it.
Well, you guys got to, you know, we would have to start meeting to, I mean, basically, I don't know that you'd want to just change that one portion of the rule. I think, you know, your rules are so old and reflect, you know, so many, we probably need to do a lot of cleaning up on the whole rules, and I'd like you all to participate in it. We can start the process, but again, right now she would be appointed.
Okay. All right. Well, then there's, you know, some of the stuff we're going to discuss today, I'm not sure if that is something we have to look at with rules because of the questions that have been thrown out to us, you know, and so right now, all we're doing is we're approving the minutes, but we can always, if we want to do any rule changes, we'd have to start that process and continue it.
Right.
So today we're just approving the minutes from the last, those are the minutes of the last meeting.
Correct. And if I can go back to sharing, Miss,
Yeah.
I'm gonna share. So the next item would be performing in-office surgery. And basically what I have gleaned is in the absence of a new set of regulations for you all for office-based surgery, you would be held to the standard of office-based surgery like physicians and all of the requirements therein. So that if you're giving more than 2 different types of sedation, you have to have pulse ox and tidal CO2 monitors. You have to have somebody other than yourself that's monitoring the patient and all of those things that go for the safety of the patient.
Yeah, and I would tell you the majority of the surgeries we're doing in the office, there may be a few people who have designated ORs where they bring in anesthesia or to do things, but the majority of us are doing it under straight local anesthesia. And
Well, then if you're doing it a straight local, it's not going to be a problem.
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. The rest of you, how many of you are doing IV sedation in your office and doing surgeries?
No,
I mean, we're not allowed to do that, right?
Well, you'd have to have anesthesia,
Yeah.
somebody come in to do it. I've had anesthesia approach me about doing it in my office, and I've chosen not to because of the risk involved.
Yeah.
So right now, when I do office surgery, it's under straight local anesthesia.
And you're not
Yeah.
giving them any PO Valium to take before they come, right?
Now, I will say probably in my career, I've rarely done it, but I have. Most of the time, I'm not doing anything IV or any sedation in the office. Now, you know, and if it's a child, I let the pediatrician decide if they want to give them a little sedation, if they even need it. Most times they don't for a local anesthetic.
Is
So I
there,
Question then, because I have done that on occasion. Very
right, is
rare.
there a problem if a patient is taking Valium and you give
Well,
them a local injection?
Okay, that's 2 different types of sedation. So at that point, you fall into the group that would have to be adherent to the office-based surgery rule.
Yeah. And those office-based surgery rules, where are they?
They are actually currently, if you want me to show them to you, I can. They exist in the rules for physicians, and we would have to adopt them and bring them into our rules for you all.
Because I think what we need to do as a committee will be review those rules.
Correct.
Okay?
And I think once we get the title, we should be able to access it, correct?
Yeah, hang on a minute. If you want to see it, I can get it right now for you. Hold on one
No
minute.
problem. And that basically is going to tell you what your rules are if you want to give somebody like a Valium or anything that might be sedative in nature. And then I'm assuming that also would include you doing IV sedation.
Well, I guess I'm confused. So you're considering a local anesthetic a sedative?
No,
he's
but
talking
if you
about
combine it with the sedative, now you have
right.
two different modalities of anesthesia.
Modalities of anesthesia, you're not saying two different sedatives. You're
No.
saying modalities of anesthesia.
Right.
Hmm.
PO,
So
go
Yeah,
ahead.
this is it. This is the rules.
Because, right, a local anesthetic is not a sedative, but, right, Valium
But
is
if you-
a sedative.
Right, if you want to give them something else to go
Or
with it.
I mean, what if they're already taking something else? What if,
Well, that's
But-
your job to know and to be sure to
Right.
be able to monitor it. And that's
okay,
why we're trying to say it's always a problem, because what you don't want to do is, somebody that you don't know is taking, 10 of Valium 3 times a day, come in your office, and then you give them a local, and they kind of fall asleep and get a little hypoxic on you. You don't want to get into problems.
no, I got you. We definitely need to review those rules.
Yeah, we'll need to review them. And I would tell you, in my 41 and a half years, I've never had a problem with anybody, even if they're taking their own stuff. They probably
Right.
don't even tell us, or if they do, I didn't know they took them the day of surgery. So, I had one child that was sent to me, and I had to kind of keep the child up because the pediatrician gave him so much damn sedation orally because they were afraid to go to the hospital because they lost a child under anesthesia. So, I mean, that's just rare. So, I mean, if we need to review that, that's fine. I cannot think of too many times I've ever given a prescription for Valium or anything to take for it to come to see me.
What
So-
about chronic pain management patients that are taking, 10 Oxycontins daily?
Yeah.
Or whatever that whatever their routine daily sedative or analgesic medication is. I'm just curious what the rules state exactly.
Well,
Okay, well, what do you want to do? Do you want to go over these rules line by line, paragraph by paragraph? Or do you want me to send everybody a copy and
Yeah.
we be prepared to discuss it at the next meeting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's send everybody a copy.
yeah.
All right,
send
we'll
everybody a
send you a
copy.
copy for the next meeting, which you can
Okay.
decide on when that's going to be before we finish today.
Okay.
Okay, let's do that. I appreciate that. Good.
All
All
right.
right, so that's one thing we'll look at in performing in-office surgery is what the rules are if somebody, like you said, under pain management or anything else, and we have to do something in the office. Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right, then in the H&P mandate. Now, I'm not sure what else we can do. We've changed the rules. I know that some people, the hospitals don't want to necessarily allow you to do it, but we have no authority over the hospital.
Okay, I'll give you an example of what is happening now is my hospital is saying that I have to do an updated H&P, my H&P, the morning of surgery if I have not had one done in the office in the last, 30 days. Even though anesthesia is doing an H&P, they still want us to do an H&P. And this recently has been sent to us as a mandate.
Well,
So
that's actually a joint commission requirement. We've been doing it for years. I haven't practiced since 2016, and I assure you, we would do an H&P updates. I would do the history and physical, send it in the week before, and do the update that morning before they'd go back, even though anesthesia did what they did. That's pretty much joint commission requirements, and that's why the hospital's asking you to do that.
Right. So that's what we're having to do now, at least with the Slide Memorial and Oxford program. So, and usually it's in the chart anyway, but that you do an update, there's nothing has changed within the last 30 days or last time you saw them. Okay. So is that what the question was on this?
No, what
one?
is the concern here? I mean, we've been doing the H&P update. What is the
Right.
old business issue?
Well,
I think it was just, go ahead.
Go ahead, Billy. I'll let you finish.
Oh, I think it was just something that was brought up about the law, bylaw, and what is it that we have to do? And it's in the Joint Commission and in the rules that we have to do in H&P it's mandated that we do it. And that was discussed. So I don't think anything has to change on it. That's just part of the old business. Correct
Okay.
me if I'm wrong.
No, I think that's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I just don't know what the concern is or what the question is there.
Well,
Should you all, can you do that? Yes, you can. Okay. I think that's what it was about. But
Oh,
again, it's what everybody is expected to do the MDs, everybody else, because if I do my, like I said, if I did my, I would do my history and physical usually the week before when I got my consents. And then the morning of surgery, I'd go in and check everything and then put an update on the chart, and that would be satisfactory for the Joint Commission and the hospital's requirements, and then the surgery could proceed.
Yes, and that's what we're being told to do.
Yes, and we've been doing that, right? Okay,
That's fine. So it's just that was the old minutes, old business, and we're just
Okay.
recalling it. Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Now, should we move on to new business, guys? Y'all ready?
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to have to defer to Miss Susie Allen about the rules courses. I don't know anything
All
about
right.
it.
Susie can't make it today. She's just having a few little health challenges and couldn't make it today. But she asked me to explain to you what's going on. The course is ready. She has a test. We're going to need 2 volunteers from this group to meet with her and go over the test questions. And then if y'all are satisfied with them, we'll put them up and let all of you all take the test to see how you feel about it. And then we can discuss it and the answers in executive session at another meeting. But she just needs 2 of you all who would ever volunteer to join her in going over the test questions and making sure they are relevant to this current setting. And then we're ready to roll with putting it up and letting you all take it and then making it mandatory for everybody else.
Okay, so we're going to need 2 volunteers now.
Yep.
If it's something that's going to be done in the next couple of weeks, I don't mind helping, but I'm officially supposed to be retired at the end of March. So
I
Does
think I can
anybody
get, I can get it. I think I can get it done in the next 2 weeks. I promise.
who wants to look at it?
I'll do it with you.
Okay, Dana, and I don't have to do it. One of y'all, both, 2 of y'all can do it. So whatever y'all are comfortable with. Lee, Jay, y'all want to do it? Or you want me to do it?
If you can't do it, Billy, I'll take over after that. How about that?
Okay, well, yeah, all right. Well, I'll go ahead and do the first one. And then if from there, if everybody's gonna look at it anyway, especially
Okay.
since I may fail it and y'all may not, you know?
I also feel comfortable doing it too, whatever y'all want me to do.
Thank you so much.
All right, so I'm up, and if Jay wants to do it, since he's gonna be around and I'm not more than likely, then maybe you'll just go ahead and do it, Jay, you and Dana. Okay,
Okay,
if you don't mind.
that sounds good. I'll do it.
I mean, I'm happy to put input in if I need to.
Billy, you're a short termer.
Old timer. Okay, so Dana and Jay, all right?
Sounds great.
Okay. Is that in on that, Dr. Collada?
Yeah, that's all you need to know, and we'll get Dana and Jay hooked up with Susie in the not too distant future and get y'all to look at that, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So number 2, Jay and I both have been contacted by Dr. Leon Shingledecker about doing venous Stacey's ulcers, I think, in wound care. I tried to just go online and see if I could see what his scope of practice is. Because if you're just foot, then the answer is no. If you're conservative foot and ankle, you can do the ulcers as long as you don't penetrate below the deep fascia. If you have full surgical ankle and leg and foot privileges, then there's no question about it. I don't know why I wasn't able to find out what his license status is.
Because he is a 1 and has been a 1 for many, many years.
Okay, so that means then if he's a 1, that I have to he's asking me in writing, and I think he did it to Dr. Groves, to give him an answer. I didn't feel comfortable without knowing what I'm answering.
All right, so let's do this. Why don't after this meeting, and then you and I to sit down, we'll go over his license and we'll make sure. But my understanding is when I reviewed this for him, because he called me about it, and I explained to him that he's a 1, and that doesn't make him happy because his hospital won't let him do it, and he thinks we should be letting him do it. And because it's kind of, he's working in a what do they call them, hyperbaric facility.
Okay.
And so again, I think the key here is that you and I will go over this, put together a response. I'll have our legal eagles look at it, and then if the legal eagles feel we need to send it to the board for final approval, we will, and if not, we'll send it to him.
Okay, I appreciate that. It's not the first time I've been approached by him about different things he's not happy with. So
I know.
I didn't want to make a unilateral decision, Jay or I, without going through the board. But let me ask you though, and I have been asked before by the hospital to review privileges for people. where somebody was going to do something and we looked and the license did not allow them to do it. And I had to tell the hospital and they told them they can't do it. So, but is there a reason that we can't go online and see the scope of somebody's license?
Well, you can, I'd have to check and see exactly. But
Yeah.
then you can go and check anybody's license. You can check mine, you can check anybody's, and it'll tell you what I have. And if we need to put 1, 2, and 3 down there, because
Yeah.
it's not there, I'll let you know. But did you go to our website to look for that?
Yes, yes. And I either couldn't tell for sure or I was under the impression he was a 1, but I couldn't tell for sure. And once again, because of some not so friendly responses before, I wanted to make sure the board agreed with what we say.
Okay.
You know?
So why, let me ask you this question. Why is he just not, you're saying he doesn't have conservative ankle privileges?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, yes.
So why doesn't he just get that? He probably qualifies.
A long discussion. It's been going on for years.
Well, he would have to have he'd have to have a 1 year postgraduate training. And if he has that,
I
then,
think he does.
right? I thought he did.
That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure he does. So I don't know why he's not, that's kind
So
of,
if he needs to make sure his application and license are done properly, then he needs to go through the channels to do that. And I don't mind telling him, we're a little confused if you need to follow up, but I'd like to, just because of some personal issues that I think Jay and I both had, I would like to try to make sure we do it in a correct way.
Okay, hang on a minute. Let's see, SHINGL.
What else do you need again for that? I mean, you just have to have 1 year of residency, that's it?
1 year of postgraduate training certified by the CPME or equivalent, that organization. Yep.
And that's it.
Shingle Decker,
Okay.
CHI, yeah,
For the ankle, that's all you need for the ankle. I mean, for the conservative,
conservative, yeah.
for soft tissue.
okay, conservative soft tissue.
Which would be a 2. Yeah. I got
Okay,
Because if he's a 2, I don't mind just calling him, say you're a 2, you can do it. But if he needs something writing, I
Right.
want to make sure we do it official.
well, again, you're right, the public facing thing does not show it, and I'll have to get together with licensing to find out why I fixed that, so we can have 1, 2, and 3 categories available for everybody to see. And
Okay.
I'll get you that answer, tomorrow morning or the following day.
Yeah, and then if it's okay, if he's a 2 and it's just a matter of me saying, yes, you can do it, but if he needs something formal in writing from the board so that he can do it with the hyperbarics people, then that's where I need to make sure we write it correctly.
Yeah, I'll get it done for you.
Thank you.
All
Right.
right, let me go back to the agenda. Hang on.
Yeah. I see it up there now, at least it's on mine.
Next is the foot amputation. I think that was my question.
Yes, it was.
So I was contacted by a hospital type administrative person who wants to be anonymous, asking, they are having some issues with a podiatrist admitting every patient to do what they considered to be possible outpatient procedures, specifically toe amputations, where the patient is being sent from the office with the diagnosis of like diabetes, but there's no cellulitis or there's no infection. The patient's being sent a day or two ahead of time to be pre-opt, so to speak, admitted into a hospital and pre-opt in preparation for a toe amputation. And so they went back to this podiatrist to say that there's no reason for admission. In other words, the patient is not septic, he's not cellulitic. He has a dry gangrene of his distal phalanx and he needs a toe amputation. And they, I guess, have seen other podiatrists doing this as an outpatient type thing, or being scheduled and coming in, and this is not happening. And now the hospital is, the patient's being sent to the emergency room. And when they questioned the podiatrist, he said it's standard of care that all amputations must be done as an inpatient. And the hospital is, I guess, questioning this because they don't think it's correct. And they asked if the state board had an opinion of this.
Okay. So
Well,
glad you
okay,
clarified that, because I was under the impression you were saying they were mandating him to do them as inpatient. It's the opposite. They would like for him to do outpatient when he can.
If it's a stable patient that doesn't need to be admitted.
Right. I understand.
Correct. That's what they're asking. And so they asked me personally, and I told them I was able to pull up some patients that I have done as an outpatient. You know, I go ahead of time, I get the authorizations, we do whatever's necessary. We do preoperative testing, and we
Sure.
do it in surgery centers or in outpatient type settings. And because it wasn't mandated that the patient be admitted, you know, if they had a chronic osteomyelitis or something, you know, where you have your stable reasons for needing an amputation.
So let me make sure I understand this, because what is our position here, other than we can say that if the physician and the patient, if the patient is healthy, you know, I don't want to dictate to the hospital and or to all the doctors, but I guess it's a physician decision too. The
Mhm.
hospital can say, if they want to, that we think stable patients that don't need to be admitted should not be forced to be admitted for this type of procedure. What is Vinny? What is can we dictate to a hospital or somebody that they have to do something outpatient or not?
well, no, number one, but number two, I think the best thing is, and with all due respect to everybody here, we're getting this third hand, okay? So the best thing to do, if you would, Denise, is talk to the hospital and say, Dr. Collada, executive director, would welcome you asking a detailed question that we could present to the board, and then the board would present that to them, and we could give you a statement of position or advisory opinion, but an answer that you could rely on, because I don't think we know enough of the facts and parameters. Because quite frankly, we can't ever mandate that other than good medical practice be done. And, you know, good medical practice is often dictated by what is the standard of care. And the standard of care is that a lot of these people would not be inpatient, okay? But if they're sick enough to require inpatient, maybe that's what's going on, but we don't know. And I think that's why we need to get exact information from the hospital to answer the question accurately, because we don't want to leave out any of their concerns.
I agree. So maybe Lee, you can follow up and see if it was the hospital that contacted you, and or I guess if you wanted us to get the name of the doctor, maybe we can some way or another try to see what the concerns are in writing.
And like I said, you submit them to me and I will get them to the board. We're just about to close the agenda for June. And so, for February, so it won't be until at least March. But the key here is we want to be able to get a clear question, so we give you a definite answer to the question.
Okay.
Okay.
Their basic question was, are all amputations mandated to be inpatient? That, I guess that's what he said. That's what the podiatrist said.
No, I'm wondering if I kind of have a sense of where that came from. And so, at one time, transmetatarsal amputations were denied. I've had them denied doing them outpatient. And it was because the insurance company said they have to be done at inpatient level. But I think even that has been reversed. I don't think that's even a case.
Yes, ma'am, you are correct.
That is
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
So I guess we need to have a follow-up with them, actually, what type of amputation maybe that they're talking about. Is there?
I guess the podiatrist just said all amputations was the statement. It was a very, all amputations must be done in a hospital. Therefore, I have to admit everyone.
Well, where I don't want to run into is that we then have to sit down and go over every little amputation that we do, or every big amputation side. Well, this one can be done outpatient. This one can't be done outpatient. So I don't want to run into that.
And
Right,
we can answer the question in the light of prevailing standards of care and
Yes.
standards of insurance reimbursement, that kind of stuff. But again, we really need the exact question the hospital wants.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Lee, on getting that.
Okay.
Any other comments on that, or we'll move to the next request that was sent to me? Okay. So one of the doctors that practices, I forgot where it is, he's licensed in the state, practices in the state, apparently works in a clinic, might be with an ortho group, where they have physician assistants. And he's wanting to know if we can supervise physician assistants. Now, my gut feeling is that they would have to work, of course, do whatever in the scope of practice and not deviate out of the scope of practice. So, you know, I mean, they could evaluate foot and ankle problems under his supervision, yeah, I guess, but he's looking for a response from the advisory committee through the board as to whether he can supervise physician assistants.
Okay. So again, we'll have to do a little bit of research. I think that is right now my recollection, and I want to be honest and say it's just a personal recollection, not a review of the rules, but you have to be a supervising physician. And I think we mean by physician, a physician and surgeon, and would have to look into it. And I don't want to say no. I don't want to say yes. That's all I can recall from the rules. And Pat and I will get on it and look at it, and we can go ahead, and what we ought to do, and Olivia, make sure we get this on the agenda, is the question is, may DPMs supervise PA? Now, do you want to include at this time APRNs as well, or just PA?
Well, he specifically asked me about PA. I think in the long run, people ask us about the NPs. So, and I think part of the problem we run into with NPs is they have their own board.
No, but physicians collaborate with APRNs. So yes, that's where the two boards are separate, but they cross over, and we have rules for who can collaborate with a physician and an APRN as well. So if you want us to answer both, we'll answer both, but we'll get to that. We'll get it on the agenda.
Okay, let's go ahead. Might as well answer both, because I know there's going to be questions they've come up before about it.
Okay.
Is that okay with the rest of y'all?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else, before we get to being replaced, anything else you want to bring up? Okay. So I'm officially going to be retiring at the end of March. I'm getting off all national boards, trying to get off all the state stuff. So we have some very good people on this committee. And I don't know if one of you want to volunteer to take the chair position. I know that Jay's got a lot of stuff going on. Lee has, Chantel, everybody, Dana, but some of y'all have had more experience being on here longer. And so I think one of y'all could step up and take it over. And then we just have to find somebody to replace me.
I nominate Lee.
I second that.
I think she'd be excellent.
All right. I don't mind doing it at all. I feel like I've been doing this for a while and I'm very comfortable in it. And thanks for that nomination there, Jay. Yeah, sure. I don't mind doing that. I don't know how we're going to replace you, Billy.
Well, they make us, like I tell my patients who are coming in, someone want me to do surgery on them. I said, I got one emergency room doctor wants me to do surgery the Wednesday before I retire on her. I said, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. So they make new doctors, they make new people. You guys are great. And y'all are doing fantastic. So they'll find somebody to replace me.
All right. Well, I would ask you all, since we've now made it so easy, we don't have to come downtown. We don't have to come to New Orleans.
Thank you.
If you would find somebody in the northern portion of the state so that we can have good geographic representation, it would be very, very helpful.
Okay. That's a good idea. And I'm glad you said that, because that was the problem in the past, traveling. So.
Right. And we've eliminated that for y'all.
Yes.
I have a couple ideas in mind. Yep.
So what I'd like to do before is maybe since we are involved with the state association, Jay, I know you have a list. We can all kind of look at it, try to pick somebody we all can agree on and submit that to Dr. Collada.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try to do that over the next maybe week. I mean, I still got 6 weeks, but next week or two, and then try to get it done. Okay. Thank you. Jay?
Sounds great, Billy. We'll do that. I'll get back to you on that. Do you want me to just email you and Dr. Collada and everybody? We'll figure it out amongst ourselves, and then we'll submit it to.
Yeah, for recommendation.
Okay. Yeah, and it's just recall, we don't want you to violate any public meetings law. If Jay wants to send an email to Billy, that's fine. If Billy wants to send an email, you just can't have what's called a rolling quorum, where a referendum goes around and everybody kind of sees it. That's not the way it should be. And I don't want y'all to get in trouble because of somebody asked about emails about it. and y'all then we have violated the law because I can't pay you fines.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. Are we able as a committee to email each other and say, here's some people that we think would be good to choose?
You can email each other, but you can't have the same email going around. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Okay, they can send their responses to me, say, you know, Jay and Billy decided we think these two people would be good to nominate. And what do you think? And send your answer to Van, and that'll be fine. Everybody will be safe.
Okay, so then one of the things we can do as a committee is we could say we have narrowed it down to 2 people. Rest of your committee, I need you. We're going to send it Dr. Collada. We narrowed it down to 2. We want to make a vote on it. Or do we need to narrow it down to 1 and just send it to you?
Send it to me because normally the board likes 1 or 2 names anyway.
Okay.
So again, I caution you, when you send it to the other members of the committee, don't expect a response. Ask them to respond to me.
Okay, so everything
And
will
that way
be
we'll keep
filtered
you
through
all out
you.
of- Yeah, we don't want anybody to get caught on this, a violation of the open meetings law. Miss Pat, did I tell them right? If I did
You
anything wrong?
did. I'm not really comfortable. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. If they're all gonna deliberate on the email and send you an individual response, nonetheless, they have taken action outside of public view. I think if I ruled the world, I would say anybody who has any suggestions of anybody that they want to put forward, make those known to just make the names of the persons known to each other, make the names of the persons known to Dr. Collada, and then at the next meeting, you all as a group vote on 1 or 2 names that you want Dr. Collada to give to the board.
Okay, which means then that we need to do this within the next couple of weeks so that we can submit it before I retire. Otherwise, we will be 1 person short. I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
Well,
Because
let me say this. How about we plan on having a meeting in 4 weeks?
Okay,
Okay.
I put that down.
Miss Olivia, is that day free?
You want 4 weeks from today?
Yes.
I have to look at that too.
March 13th.
Let me pull up my schedule.
It's probably going to be a Monday too.
Yeah,
It's
March
Monday.
13th looks good to me right now.
It looks good to me.
Good to me.
Okay,
March
why don't we
13th
shoot
is
from,
cleared. In the
Look.
evening, Dr. Van.
Yeah, 5 o'clock again is good for y'all?
Yes.
Oh,
All right, then that's what'll happen.
okay, so then we'll have submit whatever 2 or 3 names that you can do. And so if we submit, I guess where I'm trying not to get confused for the rest of the State Board of Medical Examiners on the board is, do we give them 3 names? Well, we don't know anything about these people. How are we going to choose, you know?
Well,
Or do we
what
come
we're
up-
going to do is you're going to give me the names and we're going to tell them that you've been nominated. We need a CV. We're going to get the CVs in. We're going to put them together. And then I'm going to go ahead and ask for your primary recommendation. And then I'll present the names to the board with your primary recommendation. And the board's going to either accept, reject, or modify, whatever y'all say.
Okay, that's it. I'm glad you told me that so we know how to do this. Great. Appreciate that. So is there anything else that anybody needs to talk about? If there's no additional topics, I guess we can call an adjournment to the meeting.
Dr. Collada, would you check for public comments before y'all adjourn?
In 1 second, let me do that. Give me a second and I'll check public comments.
Oh, Dr. Collada,
1 second, please. Just give me a minute. I just want to make sure I don't miss any public comments. No public comments at this time. Go ahead.
Can I also ask you that question? So maybe I can get that written question from the hospital before the 4 weeks. Who do I have that? Do I send that
Email
to
it to
you?
me.
Okay, by email.
Ask the hospital to email it to me.
Okay.
You want the
exact-
hospital to do it?
Yeah, because it's going to be a response to the hospital.
Great. That sounds great. Anything else, guys, that we need to discuss what we call quits this?
Nope.
All right, then let's go ahead. If unless there's some objections, I want to thank y'all. Appreciate working with y'all. This has been a great group of people. Dr. Collada, you've been wonderful. Of course, we've known each other a long time and all the staff there, and retirement is going to be interesting. But thank you for everything, and I guess we'll call this as an adjournment.
Don't get bored.
I got grandbabies right now gonna keep me busy. You know, I gotta say, the boring part, I'm seeing 30-something patients today. I got 5 surgeries Wednesday. It's gonna be crazy. Going from 100 miles an hour to 0. So I may play a lot of golf or I'll go nuts either way.
All right, guys. Thanks very much for your
Thank you.
time. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Dan.
your work to the service to the agency.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.